For a career of extraordinary service to the people of Maine, I present you with our legendary trooper, retired Sergeant Herman J. Boudreau. Herm, could you come up?
I salute all commissioned officers, my family. First, I want you to do me a favor. Will you all stand for about 1 minute? I know that isn't in the script, but I know you're all uncomfortable there, so just relax for just a moment, stretch. I'll only be here for, they tell me, 4 or 5 minutes. I'm really honored, and I want to recognize my family who's sitting in the fourth seat, my wife, my 2 sons and daughter, my son-in-law. I started in Waterville, as was mentioned, and I wound up here in Coney High School auditorium. It took me 67 years to get here. When just give me a minute and I'll get going and you won't be able to stop me. I began my career with the Maine State Police. After traveling all over the United States, I had hitchhiked 42 states before I was 16 years old. I started school at 7, not knowing how to speak English. I quit at 11, still not knowing how to speak English. I wound up in an army or in a lumber camp, cutting wood, driving team. And all the time that I was doing this, I said there must be a better way. I started fighting for a living. We earned $1, $1.50 for curtain races in Waterville, Bangor, Skowhegan, open air. Then I went on a farm in Cooper's Mills. And something happened to me there that was to stay with me for the rest of my life. At 16 years old, I was driving a truck. I went through a stop sign without stopping. A man by the name of Trooper Tripp, who's gone now, stopped me as I pulled at the store where I was going. He looked down at me and I looked up at him. And when they say I was so afraid or so scared that I almost messed myself, well, I did. That was to guide me in my career as a state trooper. I don't think I ever arrested anybody in the first violation. I always remembered Trooper Tripp in all my years that I served with the state police and law enforcement. And how lucky can a man be, for me, that I don't think anybody would give a chance in the world to be ever attain this award. As whoever saw me going through life up until this point, I was lucky in many, many ways. I rubbed elbows with the best. Billy Graham. I was directing traffic, and a great big black car drove up, and who was it but Billy Graham? And I was already assigned to his speaking engagement at the State House. I rubbed elbows with presidents. A little boy who lived in the woods, worked on the farms, fought in curtain races for a living, would rub elbows with the best. I shouldn't mention his name maybe, but he still was the best at the time. Nixon, he rode with me. Kennedy, Johnson. My wife took a picture of Johnson at the time, President Johnson. She didn't know whether to shake hand or take a picture of him. She took a picture, and the only thing came out was his nose. I was privileged as a young trooper to walk the entire length of the State House into the House of Representatives so that the governors could be sworn in. Governor Reed, Governor Muskie, and Governor Curtis. How proud I was to walk and say, clear the way for the governor. How lucky can a guy be? I did have total commitment. That's all I knew. That's all I believed in. That's all I believe in today, is total commitment. And I hope that the young troopers who come on the force will have the same feeling, the same desire, because there's hard times coming for the young trooper today. When you think of what happened just a few days ago when Abby Hoffman and Amy Carter were found not guilty because of decision of necessity. They broke the law, but because they felt so strong in that desire to break the law, they found them not guilty. I think we have problems. So you must dedicate yourself to whatever you do. You don't have to be a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, or a colonel. You can be just a plain trooper. And if I was in Trooper Colonel Demers' shoes, I would title everybody trooper first, because there's nothing prettier, no word more fitting than a trooper. And I'm glad that I was a trooper. In closing, I have a dream. I've always had a dream. And I hope someday it'll come true. That when the men come out of the academy, full of vim and vinegar, full of spirit, full of pride, that they can go in their individual troops and stay that way, not change one bit from what they did in the academy for the 15 or 16 weeks that they were there. And if you have in the next 10 or 15 years that you're going to probably stay, I hope that you can train your troop commanders. Send them to the academy if they forgot what it's like, so that they can continue that same attitude, that same spirit, that same drive they have when they come out of the academy and go into the field. If this can be attained, you'll have the greatest. And another thing that I want to say is that I'm shocked and flabbergasted. I thought that when I left 20 years ago that the state police would fall flat in its face, and it didn't. And the same thing with the National Guards. I was with them for 25 years, and I retired as a sergeant major, and I said, when I'm done, the thing will fall apart. But it's going on better and better than ever. In closing, I want to say again, to all of you that served with me, that served before me, you see, I believed that when I came on in 1945, I contacted every living retired trooper. I knew them, They were a legend. A lot of them continue to be a legend. And again, how lucky can I be? How lucky can one be? Can I stand here and in the same breath say that I have a plaque that makes me a legend also? Thank you very much.